But let me know if people are sitting outside.
Yes,
Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avatara vadisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha Jananim saradam devim Ramakrishnam jagadgurum Padapadme tayo shritva Pranamami muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Good morning everybody and welcome to this Sunday session. Today the subject this morning is the power of Bhakti. Bhakti is the love of God. So what we are going to talk about this morning might be, to those who attended yesterday's session, might be pretty confusing, because I'm going to say things which are very contrary to what I said yesterday. But there's no need to be confused, because these paths, the path of knowledge, the path of love and devotion, bhakti, the path of meditation, dhyana, the path of selfless service, karma yoga, all of them are about one thing and one thing only, about that spiritual reality which you might call the Atman or God, Ishvara, Bhagavan, whatever you want to call it. It is about enlightenment, about salvation, about mukti, about moksha. So it's about one thing. Only that these are different paths, and it's good to appreciate the differences of these paths. Each has its own beauty. And also the great thing is that you need not, these paths are also not exclusive. We can combine them in our spiritual practice, in our spiritual life, and indeed we should combine them. So having said that, let's go into today's subject, the power of bhakti. It actually boils down to how you define the problem. How you define the problem also defines the solution. What do I mean by that? In the path of jnana, knowledge, we are told that you are Brahman, you are already that existence, consciousness, bliss, Satchidananda. Then what is the problem? Somebody here asked that, how do I become Brahman? And our answer, the answer of Vedanta is that you are already Brahman. In that case, you should rephrase the question. Okay, supposing I am already Brahman, then the problem is that I don't know it. I don't feel it. It's of no use to be just listening to that I am Brahman, you are Brahman. So the problem becomes ignorance, that we do not know. You see, in the path of knowledge, it's called the path of knowledge because it's a solution to the problem of ignorance. The real problem is that we do not know who we are or what we are in the path of knowledge. And so, if not knowing is the source of the problem, then the solution should be knowing. If ignorance is the problem, then the solution should be knowledge. So that's why it's called the path of knowledge. I do not know that I am Brahman, I have to know that I am Brahman. And then the practice will follow automatically. If the solution is knowledge, how does one get knowledge? If I am ignorant about physics or about Sanskrit, then how do I solve this problem? You will say, get knowledge. If I ask, how do I get knowledge? You will give me a practical suggestion. Go and enroll in a course in the local university or in the college and study. There will be a professor to teach you, there will be books to read and knowledge to be gained. Remember, however, there is a distinction between the kind of knowledge that we get in a classroom from a textbook, from a teacher, and spiritual knowledge of the nature of who I am. But still, on the whole, the difference is not too much. There are the Upanishads, there is the teacher, and you study the Upanishads and you think about it and meditate upon what you have thought about, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Here, study, think about it, get a conviction, what you are convinced about, meditate upon it, and then the promise is that you will get that intuitive flash called Brahma Jnana, the enlightenment about Brahman, that you are Brahman. All this, this approach, entire approach, what we spoke about yesterday also, all of this is taking for granted, assuming that ignorance is the problem. This is the path of jnana, path of knowledge. But the yogi comes, Patanjali Yoga, the yogi comes and says, no, 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 ignorance is not the problem, not the actual problem. Well, the real problem is restlessness of the mind. Swami Vivekananda also says that the only way to get knowledge is through concentration of mind. So restlessness of mind is the real problem. In Sanskrit, chitta vikshepa. Mind is ashanta. Ignorance is not the problem. Restlessness of mind is the problem. If restlessness of mind is the problem, then what will be the solution? Meditation is the method. Solution? What is meditation for?
Calm the mind.
Calming the mind, concentrating the mind, focusing the mind, settling the mind down. So, if restlessness is the problem, chitta vikshepa, then the solution will be focus of mind, concentration of mind, calming the mind. And the method will be meditation. Method will be meditation. Can you clearly see these two I am putting together, side by side? Problem, ignorance. Solution, knowledge. Method, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, the path of knowledge. Problem, restlessness of mind. Solution, concentration of mind. Method, meditation. Now you go to the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. What is yoga? Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is calming down the modifications of the mind. Swami Vivekananda in his commentary in Raja Yoga, he compares the mind to a lake. And the reality which you are, the Atman, the Purusha, what we really are, is compared to the bottom of the lake. And he says, what is yoga? Is calming the lake so that there are no waves on the lake. Two things you require. There should be no waves in the lake, and the water of the lake should also be clear. If the water is muddy, you cannot see through to the bottom. Even if the water is clear, if there are waves on the lake, again you cannot see through to the bottom. And if there are waves and muddy water, then no chance at all, which is mostly our condition. So the water has to be pure and clear, and the waves also have to subside. Then you can see through. The water of the lake will be like glass, translucent, transparent almost, and you can see through to the bottom. The third sutra of Yoga Sutra says, Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. When your mind is in deep samadhi, calmness, deepest possible absorption, then what happens? You, the drashta, the consciousness, in Yoga Sutra, the ultimate reality which you are, your own reality, is called Purusha. Purusha here does not mean man. It means the being of pure consciousness. And Prakriti is matter. You will remain in your own real nature. You will be appreciated in your real nature. Appreciated means you will be able to understand. I am not the body, not the mind, I am consciousness. When will you understand this? When the mind is calm. I remember about 12 years ago, I was in the Himalayas in Gangotri, and I was staying in a little hut, meditating, studying, and there was a monk in the hut next to mine, close to mine. One day I was sitting near the river. This was in around this time, August, September, when the rains have subsided, and all the rains are going on still. You know, the water becomes very muddy, landslides and everything in the higher reaches of the Himalayas. And there is torrential water, because a lot of water is accumulated because of the rains. So a lot of water flows. And it's muddy, and it's fast. The river is narrow and fast there, in the high Himalayas. So sitting near the river, Ganga. And this monk came and said to me, you know, Vishayi ka man, yogi ka man. The mind of a worldly person, the mind of a yogi. The distinction that he drew to that day. Sometimes you get teachings you can never forget. Sitting in front of the Ganga flowing past, at that time he came and told me, few minutes only, unforgettable, I'll share this with you. A worldly mind and a yogic mind. Mind, remember, we are talking about Atman, Brahman, Purusha, no. God, no. We're just talking about the mind. Worldly mind, yogic mind, difference. He said, Ye jo nadi, you see in the river now. Look at the water. There is a lot of water. It's flowing fast. It's muddy. And it's dangerous. A worldly mind, come forward. A worldly mind, a mind engaged in the world, is exactly like that, he said. What is the similarity? There are a lot of thoughts. Many thoughts. Worries, anxieties, desires, many thoughts. And changing fast, flowing fast, one after another, quickly. And muddy, impure, which we ourselves, it disturbs us. He said, this water which you see in front of you in the river, it is flowing, he says, you cannot drink it, it's muddy, and you cannot give it to anybody else to drink. Khud nahi pee sakte, kisi ko de bhi nahi sakte. You cannot drink it yourself, you cannot give it to anybody else. Similarly, a worldly mind, it does not give you any peace, and nor will you give any peace to people around you. If I have such a mind, I am disturbed, I am unhappy, and people around me also are unhappy with me. Because of the very nature, intrinsic nature of that mind. It's mixed with so much impurity. And the fourth thing he said was, look at this river now, it's dangerous. Just the day before somebody had been drowned. People will come with great devotion, Ganga, I have to take a little bath in the Ganga. The Ganga in Haridwar is different or Kashi is different, and Ganga in Gangotri very different. It flows very fast and surrounded by big rocks. Somebody got drowned and all that. So he said, look, it's dangerous. Similarly, a worldly mind is dangerous. When it will become depressed, when it will drive a person to suicide, you never know. Worldly mind. Children in India, there are so many reports committing suicide. Why they have failed in an examination? Or something happened. Parents scolded. They have gone to commit suicide. What craziness! But what the craziness of the mind? It's a world, a mind which is impure, full of fear and anxiety and desire and dissatisfaction and frustration. So he said it's like that. Then he said, contrast this river with the river if you ever come, he said to me in Hindi, Jade ke samay mein agar aayenge, if you come in winter, this very river which you are seeing here, there will be very little water because it's mostly ice. It will be flowing slowly. Sometimes it stops also because the glacier extends, so it stops. And he said, the water is clear and sweet. खुद पी सकते हैं, दूसरों को भी पिला सकते हैं. You can drink it and you can offer it to others. And it's very safe, you can walk across. Though I would not recommend it. Once I was walking in a bus dropped me off near a particular place in the Himalayas. And when I was walking across the road, there was a fast flowing stream which was flowing across the road, eroding the road also. Not deep. So I thought I'll just take off my socks and I had sandals and take it off. I'll walk across the stream. The moment you take 2 steps inside, your feet are frozen. Now you cannot walk any further. Because it's very cold. It's just ice melted water. Anyway, he said it's safe. You can walk across also. Similarly, he said a yogi's mind. There will be few and selected thoughts. You are in charge of what your mind will think about. Imagine the beauty of such a mind. When you want, you can stop the thinking. Samadhi. And the thoughts are pure. The water is clear. The thoughts are pure. Devotional, calm, meditative. It gives you peace, and those around you, they will also get peace. It gives you peace and people around you also get peace. And the last one is, it's not dangerous. The yogi's mind, it takes you to your goal, whatever it is, God realization, moksha, nirvana. So compare this. And what makes this difference? Vishayi means worldly mind. Yogic mind, what makes the difference? The difference is meditation. Here is the disturbed mind, here it is a calm and concentrated mind. Not just meditation, but purity of mind is also necessary. Otherwise it will not become calm. Okay. Again, not our topic today. This is the path of meditation, yoga. They defined the problem as restlessness of mind. So the solution became concentration of mind. And the method becomes meditation. I met one yogi in the Himalayas, very young monk, Nepali monk from maybe about 21 years old. He was sitting in a cave and meditating. And very nice young man. He would sit, there was a big gorge, a few 100 feet below, and it's very dramatic. There's a precipice on top of that, on the edge of the cliff he sits and meditates. He has got a nice hairdo, with a knot and all, and a beard, and he's sitting in a yogic posture meditating. So I said, why do you do that? Isn't it very windy there and a little disturbing? And he's so simple. He said, oh, it's nice. All these tourists come, on the other side they take my picture. I see it's good. Very simple boy. So what is he trying to achieve? He said that he is trying to achieve samadhi, path of meditation. I asked him, look at the viewpoint. I asked him, what about Vedanta? Because I like Vedanta. So I said, Vedanta kaisa lagta hai? Have you studied any Vedanta? Advaita Vedanta, the path of knowledge. How do you like that? Look at the reaction. It's the yogi's reaction. He said, I'll tell you in Hindi and then I'll translate. He said, बहुत बात करते हैं वो लोग, अनुभूति नहीं है. What does it mean? He says that, oh, Vedanta it's alright, but they talk a lot. They don't have any experience, spiritual experience. So from a yogi's point of view, the Vedanta, the path of knowledge, is a lot of studying and talking, and it's okay in its own right, but it's not. They don't have experience, spiritual experience. Now comes the path of Bhakti, the teachers of love of God. How do they see the problem and the solution and the method? They say that, no, ignorance is not the problem. Restlessness of mind is not the problem. Abhakti is the problem. Abhakti means lack of love and faith and surrender to God is the problem. In the path of Bhakti. And the solution is love of God. Devotion to God, surrender to God. That is the solution. The path of Bhakti. So you see, depending on the way you situate the problem, the solution also will be different. Ignorance, knowledge. Restlessness, meditation. Restlessness, concentration. Lack of faith and devotion. Love and faith and devotion. The solution. And the method also will differ. Method might be study and understanding in one way, in one path. Might be meditation in another path. Might be worship and adoration in another path. So path of Bhakti. Now the path of Bhakti has some intrinsic advantages over other paths. So today I am speaking about Bhakti, so I am going to say this. It seems that when Swami Vivekananda, somebody complained to Swami Vivekananda, Swami, when you speak about knowledge, if we feel that that's the only path, everything else is... But now you're speaking of meditation, we feel that's the only path, we have to meditate. When you speak about serving humanity, that seems to be the only path. The rest of it seems to be selfishness. Or devotion, that seems to be the only path. So he smiled at it. I don't know what he said. What did he say? He said, whatever he said, whatever he taught it as so powerfully, presented it so powerfully, that for that time being you feel that is the only path. Everything else is secondary. Bhakti has some advantages, intrinsic advantages. How? First of all, yesterday we spoke about the path of knowledge, jnana. But you know, whenever you take up any text on jnana, Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta, they will not talk about what I said yesterday. First of all, they will talk about qualifications. In Sanskrit there is a word adhikari. Who is qualified to study? You want to study Upanishads? Are you qualified? You might say, what is all this qualification? I have $5 in my pocket, I can purchase the Upanishad and study it. That's the only qualification you require. Why do you require anything else? Well, you may purchase it. And you may even read it. Though many people, they purchase it and put it on their shelves, never open it. Some people, they open the book also. But you read it and it doesn't appeal to you. It doesn't appeal to me. I'm reading it. Or it appeals to me, but I don't see any difference in my life. It doesn't work for me. Why does it not appeal to me? Why does it not work for me? The initial conditions have not been satisfied. What are these conditions? If I tell you, you'll be scared. First of all, they will say you need to have viveka. Viveka means a clear distinction between there is an ultimate reality. And this world, temporal world is changing, transient, intrinsically valueless. This clarity, it's not realization, you are not already an enlightened person, but a clarity should come, that there is such a thing. Call it Brahman, Atman, liberation, moksha, whatever you want to call it. What spiritual life is talking about, it's true in the broadest sense. And this world is intrinsically valueless and transient and temporary compared to that. This is called Viveka. First. Second, what you have found to be temporary and valueless, let go of that. Don't pursue that anymore in life. Pursue liberation and enlightenment in life. This is called Vairagya. Intense Vairagya, that I don't want these temporal goals in life. And that's not enough. There's a sixfold discipline. Calmness of mind, shamaha. Control of the sense organs, damaha. Withdrawal from worldly pursuits, worldly enjoyments, uparati. Focus on spiritual practice, samadhana. A kind of spiritual toughness, that the world will throw problems at me. I will put up with all those problems in pursuit of enlightenment. Titiksha. Titiksha means what?
Endurance.
Endurance. What kind of endurance? There's a lot of worldly endurance. How much you put up with for the sake of your job? I don't feel too good today. I'll miss the Sunday lecture, Vedanta lecture. No problem. I don't feel too good today. I won't turn up for work today. Oh, problem. You don't feel good, you feel ill, but in spite of that, you force yourself to turn up for work. Why? Because the consequences are there. Don't turn up for spiritual practices, don't meditate, don't repeat the mantra, don't open your Upanishad book. It doesn't seem to be any consequence. But that titiksha, that toughness must be there. I want enlightenment. Just like I pursued my worldly goals. See, most of us, we've come from other countries. You come from across the 7 seas to settle down here. Any immigrant population has to struggle. So you have put up with so much trouble in life. Are you willing to put up with trouble for spirituality? Are you willing to put up with trouble for enlightenment? The highest goal, the highest purpose, the most serious use of life is enlightenment. Titiksha, required. Toughness, a spiritual toughness. Shraddha, a faith that what the teachers are telling me, what the scriptures are telling me, this is true. I don't get it yet, but ultimately it's true. And then finally, mumukshutvam, an intense desire to be free of limitations, to attain enlightenment. What am I talking about? Qualifications. Before you open the first book of Vedanta also. I went to Nalanda University, which is a very ancient university in India. Now it's ruins, but it's preserved by the Archaeological Survey of India. The university existed from 500 AD to about 1200 AD, nearly 800 years. It was preeminently a Buddhist institution, but a seat of learning in ancient India. Scholars from other parts of the world, from China, from Tibet, they used to come to study there. They're just ruins now. If you go there, you will see 11,000 students studied at one time. 11,000 students, and each student had a room, separate room, and you can go to those rooms now. One reason is because when the university, in those days when they renovated the university, instead of destroying it and building it anew, They just filled it up and built on top of it. So if you excavate, you can go deep. You can actually see the existing thing. It's really remarkable. Why am I saying this? There is a legend associated with Nalanda University that when you wanted to get admission, Ivy League college, you want to get admission, you turn up at the gate and the gatekeepers were professors. So they're going to ask you questions about grammar and whatnot and so on, different things. If you can answer them, then you are allowed inside. If not, go back home. So I think that's the origin of the term entrance examination. In the path of knowledge, Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhamadi, Shak Sampatti, Mumukshutvam, all these qualifications, do you have them? Then welcome into Vedanta, into the path of knowledge. Don't have them, it won't work for you. A teacher told me that with those qualifications, if you study Vedanta, you will get enlightenment. From a teacher, if you study and you go through the study, meditation, thinking, all of that, you will get enlightenment. Without the qualifications, if you study Vedanta, really put some effort into it, you will come to an understanding, but not enlightenment. You will get the feeling, I have learned a particularly clever philosophy, but so what? The difference is in the qualification. Bhakti, the path of love, nothing. Everybody is welcome. Entrance examination, no entrance examination. Can you love? Do you have some love? Yeah, but I don't have love for God. Doesn't matter. You have some love in your heart. Can you love? Yes. Then you are allowed inside. Love of God, we will teach you. Don't worry. That's our responsibility. You are allowed inside. There's a very nice distinction somebody drew. Jnana, the path of knowledge, is like inviting the king to your house. When the king comes to your house, you have to clean up your house, decorate, paint your house, and get the best furniture possible, and do all of that. Otherwise the king is not going to come. After all, you're inviting the king. And when the king comes, what does the king do? Nothing. He just comes, walks in royally and sits in the nice sofa you have provided, and now you have to do things for him. Because it's a king after all. So it's a big deal to bring the king to your house. But Bhakti is compared, Bhakti, the term is feminine in Sanskrit. So it's compared to a very humble maidservant. You don't have to do anything. Just have to invite her to your house. She will clean up the house. She will clean up the house. She will make a spot for herself. She will take care of it. You don't have to bother about it. You have to have all the qualifications before the king of knowledge comes into the house. Bhakti, she will bring all the qualifications herself. Once you allow Bhakti into your house, into your heart, all the qualifications, discipline and truth, and some people outside? Okay. Can you hear me outside? Those who are outside? If somebody has to give me a signal, a thumbs up, a high five, something like that from outside. Can you hear me outside? No? Can you hear me outside now? I need some feedback from there.
They are working on it.
Hello, hello.
That's not working.
Hello.
Not yet.
Not yet? One more.
Can you speak now?
Now, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I don't know if you've switched it on properly.
Is the microphone on?
It is on, but there are 3 settings. So
when the red light is on?
red light is on. Red light is on. Can you hear me? No.
Hello.
Are you home?
Come in.
Hello?
That's better.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Not yet.
No? No?
How many people? We can move.
4 or 5.
Leave the door open.
4 or 5 people?
Yeah, for
Yes. Come closer.
Yeah, come closer. At the feet of the Swamis. At the feet of the Swamis.
Come closer. Yes.
Shamba,
Yeah.
tell them to come in.
Can you hear me?
No.
Now?
Never mind, just come inside. We'll make place.
Just come inside.
Yeah. That's it. Great. Just come in. You can sit on the carpet on the floor.
Yeah.
Just tell them to come here.
Whoever can sit down, they can
Yes. Come. Younger people can come up here and others can sit up. Yes. You see, because I tried all positions, not working.
Maharaj, it needs a Bhagama tooth, not Bluetooth.
I think we have enough space.
Right.
Enough space with you.
So, yes. So, I think we can accommodate everybody.
Yeah.
Come closer. All right. Where was I?
Yeah.
Bhakti. Qualifications. Yes. So,
She will come and be in that.
yeah, the maid servant comes in and brings all the disciplines in your life which are required for enlightenment. You see, there is a problem with the path of knowledge. There is a problem with something that one should know about. Yesterday, we spoke about in the Ashtavakra, the second line of the verse, Asango Nispriya Shanta. The Brahman, the ultimate reality which you are, is completely detached from the appearances which come in that reality. Asanga, Nispriya, completely desireless for the false projections of Maya. And Shanta, completely at peace. That's our real nature. Now, a jnani person who is enlightened should manifest these qualities. And there should be no kama, krodha, lobha in the life of a jnani. Why? Because if I am Brahman, what should I desire? Because I am the only reality. If I am Brahman, what should I be greedy about? There is no one thing, nothing extra beyond my own existence to get. In the Isha Upanishad it says, Ma gridha kasya svidhanam. Do not hanker about anything beyond that reality, Brahman, which you are. Because anything other than reality is unreality. And Shanta, peaceful. What should I become angry about? With whom will I become angry? Because they were all the same reality. You want to say something?
I think this is working now.
Now it's working?
Yeah.
Are there people outside?
No, no more.
Just tell them to come.
Tell them to come
Let's
here.
not interrupt too many times.
Yes or no? Are there
Nobody
people?
outside,
Nobody outside.
No.
Then we can switch it off. Yes, one must be clear about these.
Suggested before.
Yes. But sometimes you find a person, Vedanta, getting angry, irritable, or desirous. I want this, I want that. Or even greedy. Now if you ask the Vedanta, the person on the path of knowledge, why are you getting angry? And the answer might be, oh, I am Satchidananda, I know that, I am the witness consciousness, Sakshi, Atma Sakshi. Anger is in the mind, you don't understand, you are an ignorant person. Actually, I have met such people. I have a clear understanding of Vedanta. After all, I am not my mind. These problems which you are saying, I don't deny it, but it's in the mind. I am not the mind. But you are shouting in anger. Yes, mind and body, I am the witness. Now, this is not nice. This is not attractive. Who wants to be a jnani like that? In Hindi, one Swami said, "Ye rote hue jnani kisko pasand hai?" I am a Brahma jnani and I spend my life weeping. What good is that? What good is that? Why does that happen? Sri Ramakrishna gives an example. He saw a Vedantic monk who said, who used to tell lies, and then used to tell lies, falsehoods. And Sri Ramakrishna asked him, why do you tell lies? You say that you are Brahman and these things, and then you are telling lies. Why? And the answer that monk gave befuddled Ramakrishna so much, he had no comeback. That monk said, Vedanta says, Sara Jagat Mithya hai, whole world is false, and you are catching only my falsity. The universe is a lie. It's an appearance, an illusion. Why are you accusing me alone? And Sri Ramakrishna was mightily confused. He had some very harsh things to say about such Vedanta. I will not repeat it. Cannot be repeated in polite company. So, rote ve jnani, a person who says, I am Brahman and yet suffers, it will not attract us. Why will it attract us? Who wants to be a jnani like that? Now, why does this happen? We should ask, why does this happen? A person may actually have a genuine appreciation of Vedanta, but still the problems are not solved. Why does it happen? It happens because of this. Remember how the problem was situated. Ignorance, solution is knowledge. It's at the level of the intellect. Where is ignorance? I do not know. Intellect. Where is knowledge? I know. Intellect. But our real problem in life is not intellectual. The real problem is at the level of desire and wanting and frustration and emotion and I want this. I want this. I want the world. This is not intellectual. This is at the level of the heart. In Bengali they are saying, pran chai. Pran means your very being, your heart wants it. We don't say in Bengali buddhi chai. Buddhi nahi chahti hai. Intellect does not want anything. Intellect understands or does not understand. Gets it or does not get it. But it's not enough to get it. It is enough to get it when the mind is purified. When the mind and the heart obeys your understanding. If my understanding and my desires are in one line, then it works. I think it was Socrates who said, or Plato, I'm not sure, to know the good is to be good. Our immediate reaction is, no, that's not true. To know what is good is to be good. But you see in life, that's not true. Mostly people know what is good, but they are not good. Why? Do you see the gap? The philosopher says to know the good is to be good. But in practical day-to-day life we find many of us, we know what is good, but we are unable to bring it into practice. Where is the gap? Eliot said, between the intention and the act falls the shadow. What is this shadow? This shadow is the unpurified, unregenerate mind. Our worldly nature. Where the heart, the emotions run towards the world. The intellect may roam in the levels of philosophy and Vedanta. I know that I am Brahman. I understand what is Brahman. But what do I feel? Where does my heart run? I want these things in the world. If I do that, if that's my condition, then where will my attention be? In the Vedanta lecture or on my screen? On the screen. Yes. When the world is presented to me, my attention will run there. Whatever the books of Vedanta may say, my feeling will be, oh, that's nice, that's clever, that's very interesting. But now let's move on to other things. What other things? The other things are what my heart wants. And in spiritual life, the real problem is what my heart wants, not what my intellect understands or does not understand. Now here is where Bhakti works. How does Bhakti work here? What Bhakti does is, what is the nature of desire? The nature of desire is, I want. I want. Not that I understand or I do not understand. I want. What do you want? I want the world. I want samsara. Pleasure, achievement, money, wealth, name and fame, appreciation, power, all of the fleeting things of the world. They'll all go away one day. My Vedanta tells me everything is anityam, everything goes away, everything disappears. But still, my heart wants it. Intellectually I understand. My heart wants it. I want money. I want the good things of life. And see how insidiously it enters. We see other people. I am perfectly okay with my little car and my little house. But no, there's such a fine house. Small print mortgage. So many things are. And a better car. And a better iPhone. and the desire enters into my mind. Not intellectually. Intellectually understand, it's not important. But heart wants. Now how does bhakti operate? Bhakti operates in this way. Bhakti works at the level of the heart. It replaces I want the world with same I want. I want God. I love the things of the world with I love God. The same power, the same force. Sri Ramakrishna talking to Turiyanandaji. Turiyanandaji was a very strict brahmachari and said, I don't want to mix with women. And Sri Ramakrishna scolded him, you are a fool. Why do you speak like that? More period, turn the flow of energy, otherwise, the direction should be turned. See the Divine Mother in all women. So I want, the world is transformed into I want God. The same force. Otherwise what will happen is, whatever I may understand and study at the level of the intellect, that force will continuously keep dragging me to the world. My Vedanta will remain in its place as Vedanta, but my day-to-day life will be it goes on the same way. The distinction will be, I understand something, but if I ask, what do I think about all day long? Do I think about God, Brahman, Atman? No. Why not? Why not? Because I will always think about, in the Bible you find, where your treasure is, there your heart will be. No man can worship God and mammon together. Mammon is worldly success, pleasure, wealth. You cannot have both together. Why? Why can you not have both together? Because where your treasure is, there your heart will be. Where you really think it's real, that is good, I want that, that's my treasure. So if my treasure is in the world, my heart also will be in the world. It will not be with God. Bhakti changes that. Bhakti works there. That's why those who are on the path of jnana, teacher told me, the more bhakti you cultivate, the more useful it will be to you in your path of jnana. Your path of knowledge is strengthened by cultivation of bhakti towards God. Did Shankaracharya not have bhakti? So many devotional hymns. Did Vivekananda not have bhakti? Yes. Vivekananda in fact says, I am a jnani outside, inside I am a bhakta. I am very soft inside. And he says about Ramakrishna, the old man, he was bhakti outside, inside he was all jnana. He was bhakti outside, inside he was all jnana. Bhakti works at that level. It transforms our desires and takes us Godward. A question may come, hey Swami, that's interesting and that's a good thing to learn, important thing to learn. That bhakti is very useful for jnana. Jnana should be supported by bhakti all the time. The great jnanis were also great bhaktas. Swami Ranganathanandaji, when he was the president of the order in Belur Mutt. So we thought that he's not particularly interested in going to the temple. I asked one of his sevaks, one of those Swamis who helped the President Maharaj, I asked him, so Maharaj did not like going to the temple of Ramakrishna or Holy Mother? He said it's just the opposite. The problem was, when he went to the temple, it would be difficult to bring him out. He would keep saying, little more, just let me stand a little more in front of the image of Sri Ramakrishna and the temple of Divine Mother. You always think of Ranganathanji as a great jnani. So the great jnanis are also great bhaktas. It's something to learn. Now the question might be, well, I understand the power of bhakti, but it depends on loving God. I really don't have so much love for God. One old monk told me once, he pointed to the picture of Ramakrishna and he said, he was teaching me actually, he said, Bengali I will translate, বুড়োটাকে কি করে ভালোবাসতে পারি একটু বলতে পারো? Can you tell me how I can love that old man in the picture? How can I get a little love for that old man? Bhakti has an incredibly easy way. There is something to learn. What is this incredibly easy way? You know what is the nature of love? It's not just emotion. The power of love is where you say mine. You must include it as mine. Do you see the two different things? You go and see a magnificent sunset. Beautiful sunset. Do you ever say my sunset? No. It's a force of nature. It's magnificent. It's beautiful. You enjoy it. Does it evoke emotions? Certainly. Grand emotions may come. But it's very impersonal. It's a sunset. It's the sky. It's the stars. It's the river. It's the ocean. But when you say, my son, my daughter, my father, mother, husband, wife, when you say mine, there is that extra pull, that intimacy, that closeness, that this person is mine. That is the secret. That's the door to bhakti. How does it work? It works like this. The teachers of bhakti tell us that to your list of mine, just add one more thing. What do you add? My God, my Krishna, my Gopala, my Rama, my Christ. Just add mine and see the change, the magic. And it may be the last in the list. You may have 100 things. My father, my mother, my husband, my child, my house and my car and my iPhone and my job and my lawn and all the way down to my dog. After that, bhakti is so humble. So just add after that my dog and then my God. Yes. It is so humble that just bring it and see the magic. Just add to the list of what you consider to be mine. Just genuinely feel mine. Not an impersonal thing. Jnana is very impersonal. But this is mine. I am this person and here is mine. My Gopal. Such a beautiful story I heard about Sister Nivedita. We are celebrating 150 years of Sister Nivedita. There is a story about Saint Teresa of Lisieux, I think, or Avila, I'm not sure. I think Avila, Saint Teresa. It's a beautiful story. She always used to write Teresa of Christ. Now there is a story about her, a vision she had once of this very dignified, shining figure of a man in a robe and a beard standing in front of her, and that man asked her, "Who are you?" And Teresa said, "This is not Mother Teresa. This is Teresa, I think Avila, long time back." She said, "I am Teresa of Christ. Who are you?" And that figure replied, "I am Christ of Teresa." That mine, mera, apna, mine, that thing should be done. Sister Nivedita, why I mentioned her name, she would always sign Nivedita of Ramakrishna Vivekananda. I belong to them, they belong to me. That mine, that leads to the beginning of love. Bhakti will come through that door. And you know how bhakti comes and spreads over your life. There is a very funny example which is given. Bhikshu pada prasarana nyaya. What does it mean in Sanskrit? It means in India you have these holy beggars who roam about. And they are beggars, but they are also men of God. Sometimes, not always. Now such a beggar, they are called bhikshu. In Hindi you say bhikari, bhikshu. So such a bhikshu comes to your house and says, "I don't want anything, just give me a corner to stay." You said, "Okay, go and stay there in that corner." And he stays there. And then next he says, "I just need a little bit of leg space, to stretch my leg, to extend my leg there. A little more space. And I have this little image of Gopala, of Krishna. So that has to be installed. Of course, not in the same corner where I am staying, another corner is necessary. So there I will install the image of Gopala. Once the image of Gopala is installed, baby Krishna, Gopala must be fed. So food has to be cooked. One corner of your kitchen, same food cannot be offered. So one corner of your kitchen is reserved for Gopala now. And the first cooking has to be done for Gopala. And of course the flowers in your garden have to be picked and offered to Gopala. Slowly what happens is called the Nyaya, the analogy of the bhikshu, the holy beggar, stretching his legs. Like the story of the camel who entered into the tent, pushed his nose in first, then his head in first, and finally the man who was staying in the tent was thrown out of the tent. So you will not be thrown out of your house, but in a good way. Bhakti takes over your life. It may enter as 101 in the list of 100. Mine. 101 will be my God, my Gopala, my Rama, or whatever. But slowly it will spread over your life and take it in a good way. It becomes central. Do you see how a baby in the house becomes central? Everything becomes for the baby. I remember one little girl playing in her father's lap in a talk. So I asked, when I watched the father and the mother with the little baby girl, I asked, tell me the truth. It's really she who is in charge, right? And the gentleman, he said, yeah, I just pay the bills. She's in charge. And that reminds me, there was a cartoon. The little girl, she's holding this thing, iPad. She says, iPad. And her elder brother, I think, he's standing there. And he holds up a little computer. What? iMac. And then his mother is there, the mother of the two children. She's smiling and saying, iPhone. And the father is standing with a grim face and saying, I paid. Bhakti spreads over your life, takes over your life. That's the beauty of Bhakti. There's a saying about Bhakti that Amrito bhavati, siddho bhavati, tripto bhavati. By Bhakti, devotion, love of God, what is the result? One becomes immortal, Amrito bhavati. Now actually we know, how does one become immortal in Vedanta? It says, Tameva viditva ati mrityumeti. In the Upanishads it is said, you realize yourself as Brahman. I am Brahman. That's how you go beyond death. So by jnana one becomes Amrita, immortal. By knowledge one becomes immortal. Here by Bhakti, it says, the teacher of Bhakti says in Narada Bhakti Sutra, you don't have to bother about that knowledge. By devotion to God alone, that knowledge which makes you immortal, you will get it. Sri Ramakrishna said, what is there in the Vedanta, my mother has shown me. The Divine Mother has told me. Whatever is there in Vedanta, whatever I have to know in life, to realize in life that I am Brahman, whatever you say, I have got it all by the grace of Divine Mother. In the Gita again and again Krishna says, be devoted unto me, surrender unto me, I shall give you that knowledge which saves you. So, one way to knowledge is through Bhakti. There is a direct way, but it's a much harder and steeper way. One way, very pleasant and very sweet way, is through Bhakti. Amrito bhavati, one becomes immortal. Siddho bhavati, siddha means perfect. Usually, how does one become perfect? We know in spiritual life, through abhyasa, through spiritual practice, through japa, meditation, tapasya, all kinds of spiritual practices, one becomes siddha, perfect. That's the general idea in India. Here it says, through love of God one becomes siddha. Without spiritual practice. You may say, just a minute, does it mean that you don't have to do spiritual practice? You will do spiritual practice, but out of love. You don't think I am doing spiritual practice. The mother takes care of the little child. She cooks and cleans and keeps house and does lots and lots of things. But she doesn't think that she's doing jobs. She doesn't ask for a salary. Why not? Why doesn't it seem like a job? It's because it's done completely out of love. When I do it out of love, repeating the name of Krishna, Ramakrishna, or any divine name, it will not seem that I am doing a lot of spiritual practice. Automatically, joyfully, it will come from your heart. It gives you pleasure. Does it not give you pleasure to take the name of your beloved child? It does. The pleasure will come, that out of joy you will do spiritual practice. You don't have to feel that now I have to do spiritual practice, long face, a serious look, sit straight, and somehow. Here is the name of God. People say, name of God, please repeat the name of God. And the usual question is, how many times? It should be a joy. Bhakti makes it a joy. Otherwise, meditation. Immediate question is, how much time should I meditate? The answer is it is joyful. You should be. Those who actually get joy in meditation, they don't want to stop. It's a deep joy, deep peace. We don't get that, that's why it seems to be a struggle. So, spiritual, without that so-called spiritual practice, siddho bhavati, perfect. And what else? Amrito bhavati, siddho bhavati, tripto bhavati, satisfied. You get deep satisfaction. Usually satisfaction, we think, comes from bhoga, from enjoyment, worldly enjoyment. I eat, drink and make merry in the hope that I will be satisfied. Never works. But I think so. Bhoga leads to tripti. That's what we think. Here it says, without bhoga, without worldly enjoyment, you get tripti, satisfaction. Without bhoga tripti, by bhakti alone. Without sadhana siddhi, by bhakti alone. Without so-called jnana marga, with jnana, you get amritatvam, immortality, by bhakti alone. Here, before I conclude, I will make a distinction between, important thing, the higher practice of bhakti and the conventional bhakti. This distinction I made yesterday also. There is a kind of conventional bhakti, conventional love of God, where I am using the love of God to fulfill my worldly ambitions. I love God. For what? God will be pleased with me. For what? In exchange I will ask for samsara. What foolishness! What great foolishness! I am brought before the divine presence. God is pleased. Ask, what do you want? I want the world. Money and pleasure and curing diseases. What else is this except samsara? Is it wrong? Again I am saying it's not wrong, but it's a lower form of bhakti. But if you go to the higher form of bhakti, that's what we must do. All of this works only if it's the higher form of bhakti. Higher form of bhakti is, I love God because I like to love God. What do you want in exchange? Nothing. I just want God. I don't want anything else in exchange. I am here before God because I love God, not for any other ulterior motive.
That love between mother and the child.
That is the closest you can get, because the mother really does not want anything from the child. Who loves more? Mother loves child more, or child loves mother more? Mother loves child more. Yes. Those who make the sacrifice, they actually love more than those who get the benefit of the sacrifice. Children do love their parents, but more as they grow up and understand a little more, then they really appreciate. Otherwise, before that, it's usually the parents who love the children more. Anyway, now, higher bhakti. How can I transform my love of God into higher bhakti? I will mention some practices and I'll end with that. Here is the crucial practice. When you come before the divine presence, in a temple or church or mosque or anywhere, you come before the Lord. Come as a lover of God. Come as a bhakta. Don't come as father, mother, corporate executive, patient in a hospital. Those identities, keep it out of the door.
Total submission.
I have come here because I love you. What do you want? Nothing. You will see the power. Usually when we enter the presence of God, we enter with all these other identities. I have these half a dozen to-do lists, problems to be solved. Here, God will solve these problems for me. God may solve the problems, or may not. But the thing is, I am missing the higher bhakti. The power of higher bhakti is lost. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, if you go before the king, ki aloo patol chaiye. If you're presented before the king, are you going to ask for potatoes and, what is patol? Parwal. Are you going to ask for vegetables? In the presence of the emperor, what will you ask for? You should ask for gifts which are of that standard. In the presence of God, ask for purity of mind, ask for dhyana, ask for bhakti, ask for surrender. When Vivekananda, he was in trouble, worldly trouble, no money, father is dead, he told Ramakrishna, they are also not directly, he told Ramakrishna, you go and tell the Divine Mother so that my problem will be solved. He said, I don't ask for such things. Why don't you go and tell? No, you believe in her, she will listen to you. No, I'm telling you. You go and tell the Divine Mother, today is, I think it was Tuesday or Saturday. One day, Tuesday, I think. So go and tell, today is the day of the Divine Mother, she will listen to you. So Narendranath goes there to the temple of Divine Mother, comes back in a half intoxicated state, like lost in divine love, surrender. Ramakrishna asked, so did you, what happened? I had a vision, Mother was there. So did you ask? Yes, I asked for Bhakti and Vairagya and Viveka. And Ramakrishna said impatiently, okay, that's alright. What, did you ask for a job and money and all that? No, I forgot. Foolish boy, go again, there is still time. Again he went. Again came back with tears in his eyes. I asked for only devotion. Ramakrishna, of course, secretly happy. He said, what is this? You go and ask. The actual thing is for you. I want money and job and everything. So he went again. Again he could not ask. Third time when he came back and he said, no, I cannot ask these things from the Divine Mother. Then Ramakrishna said, all right. I bless you that your family will never lack simple food and clothes. They will never reach after that. Excessive property and money, and it just adds care to the world. It just adds weightage to the world. It is unhelpful for spiritual life. So Narendranath, he could not ask to the Divine Mother for anything else, even when he needed it. He really needed it. Because he does not go in front of Divine Mother as a person who wants money and a job and all that. No. He goes to the Divine Mother as a bhakta. I love you, let me remember you, let me be completely dedicated to you, let me never forget you. What about your problems? The world will take care, who knows? Whatever is my karma, that will happen. I don't want to bother God with all that. When he used to go to Ramakrishna, imagine, full attention of Ramakrishna was given to Narendranath. Other people used to feel jealous. But one day it so happened that Ramakrishna didn't even look at Narendranath. Narendranath came and sat, didn't look. Second day again, Narendranath came and sat, Ramakrishna didn't look. Other people felt embarrassed. Somebody who is so beloved, everybody looks at that person. I mean, Ramakrishna looks at that person and gives so much attention. And next day onwards, not looking at all. Other people are feeling embarrassed. After a few days, Ramakrishna asked him, looked at him and coldly asked him, I don't even speak to you anymore. Why do you come? His answer was so touching. I come not because you pay attention to me. I come here because I love you. And I come to see you. I come to see you because I love you. He doesn't even want that attention. It's alright. I come because I love you, Adi. I don't come here because of what you are getting. That is how you should enter the divine presence. That marks the line between lower bhakti and higher bhakti. When you take up that higher bhakti, God actually looks at you for the first time. Not easy. I'll give you some other practices of higher bhakti. Another practice. In higher bhakti, you are not allowed to complain. In higher bhakti, you are not allowed to want anything more than God. Imagine, just imagine this, we'll get the idea. Suppose somebody invites you to their house. Suppose somebody invites you to the house and you go to their house. And you go in there and your friend who was invited, you said, oh, you've come. Okay, come and take a chair. And then he stands near the window, looks out of the window. When will he come? When will he come? How will you feel? You are there, he's not paying any attention to you. Oh, you've come, okay, sit. He's waiting for somebody else. So his happiness will be full, complete when that other person comes. You are not that important. You will feel that I am not enough for your happiness. How will you feel? Neglected? If God has come to your heart and you wait, God has come, okay, good. But money also should come. And and a second house. And that cruise in Caribbean. And so on. Those things will come, then my happiness will be full. And God is there in your heart and saying, what about me? Hey, you're there, good. Sit. That is not higher bhakti. In higher bhakti, I have the presence of the Lord, I shall not want. My Lord is with me, I shall not fear. I shall not want anything else, I shall not be afraid of anything in the world. You are not allowed to want anything more. Higher bhakti, remember, not so easy. On the other hand, you are not allowed to complain also. God has come to my heart. Yes, but mortgage has to be paid off, and I got laid off from my job, and my health is not all that good. Not allowed to complain. How will the Lord feel? I am here, you invited me, and now half a dozen other things without that my happiness will not be complete. No. Gita says very clearly, attaining which na tato adhikam manyate. You don't think that there is anything greater to be attained. Actually, nothing more is to be attained in life. And attaining which, the reverse, na dukkhena guruna api vichalyate. You will not be budged, shifted, affected by the heaviest of sorrows, by the worst of sorrows. It will not affect you. But if you have got God, if I have got God, nothing else I want. If I have got God, nothing else can affect me. That day is not a bad day, which is a rainy day. That day is a bad day when you do not take the name of Hari. So, higher bhakti, this is a practice. I shall not want anything plus God. God plus anything more, not necessary. And God with all the sufferings, no problem. But minus God, nothing, it's not acceptable. Life is not acceptable. I can go on, but there are other practices. Let me mention two practices quickly. The practices of higher bhakti. One is the practice of nama, name. Another is the practice of rupa. Name is a nice story that when the universe was created, God and man, they had a division of property. Narayan, the Lord, he said to man, Nara means man, the human being, from now on in the universe, I shall be hidden, you cannot see me. The rupa, the form of God is hidden from you, you cannot see God. But the name of God will be with you. The name of God, nama rupa. You keep the name, I am keeping the rupa, the form. The next story. From now on, the name of Krishna, of Christ, of Shiva or Rama or Ma, those are with you. The forms are hidden from you. So the practice of names, those who have got the mantra from the Guru are very fortunate. They have a direct link between yourself and God. That mantra, the Guru mantra, Ishta mantra, most powerful. I firmly believe all spiritual progress in our life, whatever we have attained till now, and whatever is coming in our life, including today, sitting here, all of this comes from that little mantra. I have no doubt. It comes from that. Rupa, form. In Hinduism, you know, God is conceived of in different forms. Durga, Kali, Shiva. It can be a male form, it can be a female form. It can be a form which is impersonal, beyond male and female, like fire or earth or sky. It can be light, it can be a sound like Om. In many different forms is conceived of. So the form of God, I'll tell you a story about that and finish. It's a very beautiful story from the life of Ramanujacharya. We are actually celebrating now 1000 years of Ramanujacharya, his life. 1000 years. So he is a great teacher of bhakti, of devotion. Vishishta Advaita Vedanta. Vedanta is qualified monism. The path is bhakti, devotion to God. Now he lived for a long time. He lived for 120 years. So the story takes place when he is already very highly regarded as a great saint, more than 80 years old. He was in this temple town of Srirangam in Tamil Nadu, where there is a beautiful image of Vishnu. I have not visited, I have read the descriptions. Has anybody visited Srirangam? You have visited? Yes. So Ramanuja was there. And in big ancient South Indian temples, you will find there is what is called Utsava Murti. That means smaller images are there. The big image, you cannot shift it. It's inside the temple. But the smaller images are taken out in processions during big festivals. So there will be chanting of mantras and incense and music and long processions, and those images are taken out with great pomp and ceremony. And the devotees gather around and they are very devoted. So in one of these festivals, when the murtis were being taken around, the images were being taken in procession, Ramanuja was there in that group with his devotees, already a very senior, a very highly respected saint. Now as they were going in the big procession, people chanting mantras, saluting the image of God, they saw one young man standing with an umbrella over the head of a young girl and staring at that girl. Now, other people around were a little annoyed. What is this in a beautiful spiritual environment? What kind of behavior is this? Ramanuja, as he was passing by, he said, "Who is that young man? Call him." The devotees also were a little upset. Why should Ramanuja pay attention to this useless fellow? Anyhow, they went and asked him. The great saint, our master Ramanuja wants to speak with you. Who are you? He said, "I am Dhanurdasa." He's a wrestler. "Our master has called you." He said, "All right." He put the umbrella down. He walked over to Ramanuja and bowed down to Ramanuja. And Ramanuja asked, "Who are you? And who is that girl? And why are you looking at her in the midst of this great religious ceremony?" He said boldly, without any kind of hesitation, he said, "I am Dhanurdasa, such and such wrestler, and the girl is Hemamba, and she has the most beautiful pair of eyes in the universe. That's why I'm staring at her face." And you can imagine the other devotees went, "Shame, shame, what is he talking about? How dare he speak like this in front of Ramanuja?" Ramanuja said, he was not at all fazed. He said, "If I were to show you an even more beautiful pair of eyes, would you like to see?" He said, "Yeah, sure. Come today in the evening, when the arati is done in the sanctum sanctorum of the great temple of Srirangam, to the Vishnu, image of Vishnu, come there. Will they let me in?" "Yes, tell my name." "They will let you in." He said, "Okay." And then he walked away and took up the umbrella over the head of the girl, and they walked away. That evening, when that young man Dhanurdasa came to the temple and he was let in, he went to the what is called Garbha Mandir, the sanctum, which is usually dark. In the ancient Indian temples, you will find it's dark. So he went in there, and a few devotees were standing there. Ramanuja was there, the priest who performs the Vesper, the Arati, with the lamp. Now, because it's a reclining image of Vishnu, so first the light will be waved at the feet, at the waist, at the chest, at the face of the image. So that's how you do the Arati. You wave the light like that. As the light of the lamp fell on the face of Vishnu, it's a reclining, sleeping image of Vishnu, fell on the face of Vishnu, Ramanuja caught hold of the hand of Dhanurdasa and said, "Look, the most beautiful pair of eyes in the universe." Dhanurdasa looked into the face of God, and living face. He saw into the eyes of God and immediately went into ecstasy. Every hair in his body stood on the end. He went into samadhi. Ramanuja, holding his hand, went into samadhi. And the people around him, they were stunned. This ordinary young man, he's in samadhi. There's a beautiful verse, I think, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which says, in the evening when Arati is performed to the Lord, he who looks upon the face of the Lord in the light of the Arati lamp, Pradeep, in that lamplight, who looks upon the face of God as the lamp is waved on before the face of God, who looks upon that, the sins of 1,000 lifetimes are wiped away. But you must look with love, with devotion. It's hyperbolic. 1,000 lifetimes, whatever our karma accumulated from many lives is wiped away. Look with devotion on the face of the Lord. So Dhanurdasa looked like that and he got samadhi. He became one of the great devotees of Ramanuja. If you read the life of Ramanuja, he married that girl Hemamba, and that both of them, Dhanurdasa and Hemamba, were great devotees. There's so many wonderful stories about Hemamba, Dhanurdasa, and their devotion to God. There are other techniques. Nama, Rupa, Vibhuti. The 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Vibhuti Yoga. How you can use the glories of nature to remind yourself of God. And there are other also techniques of higher bhakti. I'll stop here to take a couple of questions and then we'll conclude this session. Are there any questions? Yes, there's a question there. I'll come to you.
Bhakti.
Bhakti.
So you have to inculcate bhakti in your life. So there must be some ways to do it. Go to God, don't ask anything, and okay. And then you have said you have to take mantra from Guru. So your recommendation is everyone should have a Guru
Yes.
to have a better bhakti. Am I correct?
True, true. One is the higher bhakti. General bhakti we have. Most people have some kind of devotion and faith in God. But the higher bhakti is go to God without any demands. You see, the danger of going to God with demands is not that He will not grant you your demands. He will grant you. That's the danger. Vivekananda said, never ask for anything because you will get it. In this life or the next, you will get it. And you keep getting those things, you will be trapped in samsara. You see, the one who goes to God with demands, what are the demands? That person is exchanging God for samsara. All the demands are samsara demands. Then if you ask for samsara, you will get samsara. You will be caught in samsara. So go to God without any demands of samsara. Ask like Narendranath, ask for bhakti, ask for vairagya, ask for purity of mind, devotion to God, nothing else. Surrender to God. That's one powerful practice. That changes conventional bhakti into higher bhakti. Guru, Ishta Devata, mantra, very powerful practice. Very powerful practice. I cannot recommend it enough because it is like a source of spiritual strength. And once you do that, it is for life. This is my Guru for life. This is my mantra for life. This is my Ishta Devata for life. Unless you do that, stability will not come. I want to practice it, but 6 months later I will see how much progress I have made. If not, I will stop it, I will change the Guru. Somebody asked, called the Guru and asked, Swami, I have been repeating the mantra for 6 months, doesn't seem to be working. Would you like to change the mantra? It's like changing medicines. No. This is my practice for life. All of them are divine names. All of them are divine forms. My problem is that I have to settle down. Unless I settle down, nothing will work. Do you remember what I said? How you conceive of the problem, the solution depends on that. If ignorance is the problem, jnana is the solution. Knowledge. If restlessness of mind is the problem, meditation is the solution. Calmness of mind. If lack of faith and devotion and surrender is the problem, then love of God, bhakti is the solution. Now let's be honest. If selfishness is the problem, then karma yoga, unselfishness is the solution. Now let's be honest. Which is my problem? If I ask myself, is ignorance my problem? Yes. Restlessness of mind is my problem? Yes. Lack of love and devotion to God is my problem? Yes. Selfishness is my problem? Yes. Then which one will work for me? All of them. Knowledge will.
Yes.
I need knowledge, I need bhakti, I need meditation, I need karma yoga also. You had a question.
How do you find the Guru, or how do you know Guru and you are the right fit?
Yes. One is a search. We say that when the disciple is ready, the Guru will come. Take up a mantra, repeat it, worship God, pray to God. Guru will come. Another thing, don't worry too much about right fit. I have seen in the Himalayas, especially people from the West, America, Europe, in the high Himalayas, young lady backpacking it, moving from place to place. What are you doing? I'm searching for a Guru. Good. How long have you been searching? 10 years. Not good. You know what happens there? It's my ego. This Guru is not right for me. That Guru has this problem. That Guru has that. Who is judging? My own mind. What is more important? Get the mantra, get initiated, start practicing. The best of Gurus if you find. After that, what will you do? You are the one who has to practice. No, like Ramakrishna, he will touch Ramakrishna and Narendranath. He will touch and then Narendranath will get an ecstasy like that. That's why a good Guru is necessary. Won't work. It worked only for Ramakrishna and Narendranath. Somebody, it seems, went to Raman Maharshi in Tiruvannamalai and asked, Ramakrishna gave God realization to Narendranath. Can you show me God? It seems he said, who is asking Narendranath? Are you Vivekananda? So don't wait too long. Ultimately, especially in India also, we see that you get the mantra when you start practicing. Even too much contact with the Guru is also not necessary. After some time, what will the Guru tell you? What will the Guru tell you? Whatever is there in the Shastras, that only Guru can tell you. What is there in the Gita, what is there in the Naradiya Bhakti Sutra, what is there in the Upanishad, that only Guru can tell you. And the rest you have to do for yourself. You have to walk the path.
I had a personal experience. I had a severe disease process and I didn't know what to do. And I had a Guru explain. I know the doctor came and told me, hey, you're cured. And when I heard that, and I was coming out from that doctor's office, it was a different life. Is that experiencing Satchidananda? I told my friend, I asked him.
What happens is, it's not wrong to ask God or Guru to say cure a disease, to solve my problems in life, as long as that becomes the basis for spiritual life. Right? It strengthens my faith in God. That's why God grants prayers. Even though I am asking for worldly things, God grants prayers, worldly prayers also, so that my faith in God is strengthened. Right? The whole purpose is God realization, not worldliness. So I now have a deep faith because it was hopeless. I prayed, it worked. Now what do? I jump straight back into the world. No, that doesn't work for me. Let's walk forward here. So that's how it works. You had a question? Yeah, I'll come to you.
So I had a question on, how all our stories in Hinduism are, leads us to being scared, in my opinion, because every story I read, if I did not do the person will do something and for God, which is supposed to do, and God did something bad to the person. So if I go for Bhakti Yoga, so take care of Krishna or something, one day I didn't do it, something bad will happen to me.
Right. Will something bad happen if I don't worship? No. That bad thing which you feel is going to happen, something wrong is going to happen to me in my life, something will go wrong. That's a weakness of my mind. There is no fear in bhakti. There should not be. Is there a role of fear in religion? Maybe at the most preliminary kindergarten level, where a sense of awe is installed. It is unfortunately a little more in the Abrahamic religions. Fear of God, the wrath of God. In Islam, in Christianity, in Judaism also. That might be good at the beginning. But one must graduate from fear to love. And in the higher forms of Islam or Christianity or Judaism also, it is love of God. It's not fear. Go beyond, be absolutely fearless. One thing that you do not have to fear, I'm telling you openly, one thing you do not have to fear is God. Why? God is love, God is your own self. You don't have to be afraid of yourself. Your own higher self is God. It's much better to practice. Take up a little Krishna and worship and keep it at the center of your life. And practice, my Gopala. Start with that. It's mine. It will become something, maybe the most precious thing to you in life for the rest of your life. Don't worry about being afraid or being punished. No. Those are superstitions of the mind. Many people think, I have got a shrine, especially Hindu households, half a dozen gods and goddesses. Oh my God, if I don't worship that one this way, and then what will happen? I'm frantic and busy. And they keep on adding more and more deities and pictures. I've seen the person of the shrine room, a very devout person. The whole little room, full of pictures. Now, how many flowers will you offer? How many incense sticks will you wave? How many mantras are you going? The person is frantic throughout the day. Don't be afraid. That's where Ishta Devata helps. You worship the chosen ideal, God in this form. And that's it. And all the rest, all the different ideals, know them to be the same thing and bow down to them with devotion. That's enough. There's no need to be afraid at all. Absolutely not. In love, one characteristic of love is no fear. Mother has no fear of the child. It's crazy to think about it that way. One thing that they say, like if you have a dog and you love the dog, first thing is you must not be afraid of your own dog. In love, there is no fear. Second thing is, in love, there is no bargaining. Vivekananda said, no shopkeeping religion. I will offer you this puja, you do this for me, my lord. But that's most of religion is like that. Question.
So we say that the consciousness is in us and all around us. And I personally feel that we have to purify our mind and heart, and in our actions, that's our prayer to God, or whatever it is in our actions that we interact daily with every human being and with ourselves. If we purify our mind and heart to be our best loving people, I think that is religion, living like a human being first.
What's the question?
I just wanted to confirm that.
It's a comment, yes, that's true. Okay, that's the last question there. The lady there. Yes.
Can I select my own Ishtamantra?
You can start.
Name or goddess's name?
Yes, you can start off that way. It's good to have a guru. You can start off by selecting. But remember, when you select, it's your mind which is selecting. That stability will not come until you have a guru and a Ishtamantra and Ishtadevata. Until that time, suppose I like Shiva. I select Shiva and I select Om Namah Shivaya as my mantra and start repeating it. But I will go on doing it only as long as I like it, because I selected it after all. Yeah. Suppose I don't like it, then what will happen? Now I like Durga. Now I will change Durga. It happens because my mind is selecting and unselecting. Whereas if the Guru selects for you, that's selected for the rest of your life. Your mind has no questions about it anymore. Because after all, why should you jump from one to another? If all are forms of the same reality, if all are names of the same reality, what is more important, jumping from one to another or practicing one thing for the rest of your life? Practicing one thing. Yes.
Is it easier to concentrate on one name because you like it?
Yes, but also your liking, if it depends on your own mind, then what will happen is, the moment your mind changes, your liking also will change.
Why would you change the life?
Doesn't liking change in life? No?
If you really like something, you don't change it.
All right, try it. You try it.
It does.
But you will find in 99% of cases, it is a dangerous thing to do. If you like it, start. But it's much better to get the stamp from a guru. That this is your Ishta Devata, this is your Ishta Mantra, I will practice this for the rest of your life. You see, why will it, look at the subtle distinction. If I really like something, why will I change it? You're saying that. Who is saying that? The mind is saying it. Somebody else comes and says, no, look, it's much better to have a guru and a Ishta Mantra and a Ishta Devata. My reaction is, I won't accept it. That's that mind. My mind, it says this, that I love Shiva or Durga and I will repeat the mantra of that. That means now I am completely under the control of my mind. If this mind one day changes, if it changes one day, then I will also change.
Isn't it God gives you that idea?
Does God give you that idea, or your mind is superimposed?
From God.
Yes. See how with what determination you are arguing against this. What is arguing against this? The mind.
All the gods are the same, so why is it?
If God has given you that mantra through the mind, hasn't God given you the guru? Hasn't God given you the Ishta? No.
Because I saw gurus in my family. I was not too impressed.
Right off.
Okay, fine. You go ahead and practice. My response to that is, I'm very careful about these things. I saw gurus, I was not too impressed. What are you impressed with? I am impressed with my own mind.
Ego.
Straight road to disaster. No, you can try it. It's good to have a strong mind. It's good to have a strong mind. See, my answer to this is, you go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try it. But it's very interesting. The whole point is not to be attached to my mind. The mind takes over. To say that, this is my conclusion. Because this country is a very individualistic country. This country, it encourages you to think for yourself and be individualistic and stand on your feet. All very good qualities. But the downside of it is, I value this buddhi, this mind, more than the mind and intellect of 7 billion other people. What terrible foolishness. What gives me the right to say, my intellect is superior to all your intellects? But this is a stupid statement, Swami. But I am making it when I say that, no, I will not listen to Guru. I will not listen to teachers of religion, or to the books, or to you, or to him, or to her. I will not listen to anybody. Then whom will you listen to? Why? Why? Because it's my mind. How does that make it intrinsically superior to the minds of everybody else? Is my mind superior to the mind of Ramakrishna? Superior to mind of Ma Sharada? Superior to mind of Vivekananda, to Ramana Maharshi, to Kabir Das, to Jesus Christ, to anybody?
But my will, my consciousness is at par with them. My Brahman is at par with them.
Not at par, he's one with them. But who is deciding this? My mind is deciding. Look at what the avatars did. Look at the life of Jesus Christ. Do you know he was baptized by whom?
Buddhist.
No, that is some theory. But
John the Baptist.
John the Baptist. Now let me ask you, who is superior, Jesus or John the Baptist? Jesus Christ. John the Baptist himself says that he used to take people and dunk them in the river Jordan and say, now you are born in spiritual life. And he would say that, though I am baptizing you with water, but the one who comes after me will baptize you with fire. Fire means the fire of truth. And one day what happened? In the long queue of people who were coming for being baptized, John was standing knee deep in the water. In the queue of people, who is standing there? Jesus.
Swamiji, same with Totapuri and Thakuri.
Yeah, let me finish the story. So John the Baptist says that, Lord, I am not fit to tie your shoelace also. What was Jesus' answer? What was Jesus' answer? Do you know? It has been prophesied, let the prophecies be fulfilled. Let the tradition continue. Didn't Ramakrishna take Diksha?
Yes.
From whom? Totapuri and Bhairavi Brahmin, they are very advanced spiritual teachers. But I am directly answering your question. Whom did he first take Diksha from? Family Guru. Most unimpressive person. Ramkanai Bhattacharya. Who is he? Nobody knows. Why did he take initiation? Did Krishna take initiation? Did Rama take initiation? From whom? They had Guru. Who is, are Rama and Krishna superior or the Gurus were superior? Gurus were comparatively ordinary compared to Rama and Krishna and others. So that is what, anyway, what I am saying is, always good to have a clear, strong individual mind and will. If you are not convinced by what I am saying, no problem, but try it out yourself. If you want to select and practice yourself, then select and practice. Start, go ahead with it, and if you find it is working, good. If you find it's not working and it's shaky, then immediately change. Take up a Guru and take Mantra Diksha. What is the harm? The harm is not doing anything. Really, what should be done is, you should do something. If you want to take initiation, find out the Guru, take Mantra Diksha, start practicing. If that does not appeal to you, you are not into that business, then all right, you pick something and start practicing. But practice. All right,
Okay,
we'll
Swami,
stop.
yes.
Because we have another program.
Yes, we have another program, so we need some rest. The lunch is already here. Swamiji will say prayer, please have your lunch. And the Swami wants to take some rest before the evening program. At 2:30, there will be talk at Museum of Art. So everybody, all of you know by now, so please be there. And there will be much more of Swamiji than we have been. Yes, and then Swamiji, thank you so much. On the behalf of our society, all the devotees, we cannot thank you enough.
Let me just conclude with a prayer.
Yes.
With a prayer to Thakur Ma and Swamiji. I pray to the Lord, especially to the Divine Mother, to bless all of us here with deep bhakti. That in this very life, may we attain to pure bhakti, the higher bhakti in life. I pray to Sri Sri Thakur, Sri Sri Ma and Swamiji Maharaj. Let them bless us. They have come here for that. They have come here to give us that. If we are open to it, we will get it. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram